This is the second demo of the Tunguska Distortion. What do we have? High gain, characterful, asymmetric distortion in the B enclosures. So, little story. So anyway, if you want to go to the tone samples, go back to the beginning with a demo in the mix, or go a bit further on, you'll see the timestamp. But I have to tell you a little story first. So I've been building pedals for 2.5 years, and when I started going into pedals, started building pedals, I was knee deep in sludge and doom and stoner. So all the first pedals I built were really kind of gritty fuzz pedals, and there were two reasons. One, I was looking for that tone, and two, they're so much easier to build. And so that means that all the stuff I've done in the past was pretty much on the fuzz side. So what happens? Band gets back together and we start jamming and we get the music ideas, and I wanted to have like a really kind of sludgy, doomy kind of band going, and that didn't really work out. It kind of tended to be more kind of a distortionally required band. So I started testing some distortion pedals and stuff like that, and I ended up on my board with a Governor Plus 2 and one of those little Musky Golden Horses as a boost, and an always on kind of pedal. Which means that when you get to a gig and people know, oh, you build pedals, and then they look at your pedal board and you've got not one pedal of your own on there. So I had to fix that problem. But trying to get a really good tight distortion with just using transistors is not really... It is possible, but it's not really possible. There's also another thing I wanted, a pedal that is more kind of professional, in the sense that it's got better filtering, it's got tone filtering, it's got better power filtering, and also it plays really well with any other pedal that you put before or behind it. So I had to go down the IC route. And once again, I have to shout this out to the world, and that is that if it wasn't for Grant from Sign Effects I wouldn't have been able to build these pedals. I had to relearn the whole thing about how to use op amps and include them in the circuit and how to control them and all that. So none of this would have been possible without him. So check the links below. I've got a link to his website. He builds amazingly useful pedals. Anyway, so I went down this rabbit hole and I ended up tuning this over like 3 weeks to get the tone the way I wanted to, using asymmetric clipping, using a wide tone sweep, and having really, really high gain with some character. And I think I've achieved it, and I really like this pedal. So now, at a gig, I might have my own pedals on my pedal board rather than somebody else's. So that's the story behind it. So stay on. I'll put some tone demos on as well afterwards, including the 2 mixes I've made. But essentially, you've got volume, tone, and gain. Volume, tone, and gain. And the tone sweep is really heavy. It goes really dark to really bright. The gain goes from low overdrive all the way to really, really high distortion, which is great because it also means it's fairly usable as an overdrive if you so please, if you're of that persuasion who needs only overdrive. But I've got another one for that, which is also going to be used in the first demo. I boosted to Tunguska with the Phoenix, which is also a new overdrive, because that's another thing. I wanted to replace the Mosky Golden Horse with one of my own overdrives, so I created a low overdrive kind of breakup kind of pedal with again a wide tone sweep and lots of character, and works well with other pedals and responds well to the volume knob. This one does too. It actually works really well with your tone and volume on your guitar. So to no avail, let's check out some tones. Right, let's try again. So the Tunguska goes from high distortion to all the way to really low gain, and it's got a really wide tonal sweep. So in the demo, it was pretty much set to taste, and all the rhythm parts were just the Tunguska driving a clean amp. And this one here was used, this is also new, this is a low overdrive edge of breakup kind of pedal, and it is meant to be an always on my board anyway, and that was pushing for or during the lead bits to get a little bit more fizz, a little bit more high gain. The signal chain is the Harley Benton with the Tesla pickups, the kind of 8K-ish, kind of very middle of the road pickups, sound-wise, quality-wise. It goes into the Bandit and then out via the additional speaker output, and I'm applying my own IRs. And the reason I do that is so if you like the tone, you can support me by getting the IRs. So just to give you an idea of the gain, all the way down. So some of the things that were important to me designing this pedal was one, a huge tonal sweep for flexibility. Second was a huge gain sweep for flexibility. A nice raw kind of ampy kind of distortion, so it's asymmetrical distortion. And it's got quite a bit of filtering to get rid of all sorts of weird and wonderful noises inside. Obviously, it plays really well with other pedals, both before and after, and it also plays really well with the volume knob. That's me just turning the volume knob now. overdrive. Now at the moment it sounds pretty dark, but that is by design, so I can go all the way from really dark all the way to super bright. I find that just after 12 o'clock, like 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock is usually kind of like a sweet. The other thing that was important to me was that if you have it on a bit darker kind of rhythm tone, you still have fairly decent chugs on it. You don't get too flubby on the bottom end. The other thing that I like to do is to kind of see what kind of gain I'm getting on a pedal is how well it sustains pinch harmonics. So, one thing I wanted to let you know is in the demo that you heard in the mix in this video, I had the gain turned a little bit down for the lead. Everything else was done just with this, getting a tone that I wanted. Then I had the tone a little bit high, but then I engaged this guy. Essentially boosting and cutting a bit more lows, classic kind of boosting, high gain stuff, you know, boosting the level, shaping the tone a little bit, tightening up the bottom end. So. And you may ask, well, what is this? Well, this is the other new pedal of mine. I'll have a more full demo. There is a demo in a mix of this one already. But this is the Phoenix Overdrive, designed to be a low overdrive, nice full character kind of overdrive. That can also be used, I don't want to say like a Tube Screamer to boost, because I've got a better pedal for that. That's the DMB, but it does add a little bit of color and a little bit of boosting, that if you want to use it in a boosting kind of setup, perfectly possible. But it is actually designed to be overdrive. So here's just a quick. That's the tone knob, dial back. It also gets really dark. There's a reason for that. And one of the reasons is that you can use it to mimic your neck pickup. So this is nice for rhythm stuff. It's got great sustain, even on a kind of lower level. But this is not about the Phoenix, this is about the overdrive, I mean distortion. Thank you very much for watching. If you're interested in any of this, please check down below. There's links where you can buy them. And please like, subscribe, share, and do all the lovely stuff. Thank you very much.